Hello, Wanderers. Welcome to Soul Wanderings. I'm AJ,
And I'm Natalie.
and we have some technical things again. My goodness. Got it. It's fixed that quick. I knew what it was.
Oh
Hello,
my gosh.
everyone. Welcome. This is Soul Wanderings, and we're here every Wednesday night, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Offering you a new topic and a conversation that hopefully feeds your soul and gives you some inspiration, motivation, or some kind of insight into your life and into yourself. You can learn more about us by visiting soulwanderings.com. We've been going at this for many years now, and we really enjoy being here with you. So, thank you for spending your time with us each week. We are so happy to have you. During the day, we hang out in a place called Vibes Mind Body Spirit. That's where we help assist others, I should say, not help, but assist them in becoming the best version of themselves as possible in their experience of being a human. Natalie specializes in grief and the human design system, and I help people through self love, trauma, knowing their purpose, all of that good stuff. And we get to do that at vibesnow.com if you want to check that out. This week, we are going to be talking about um, the courage to be real. And basically, it's all about living our most authentic versions of ourselves and what that looks like. Exciting. I love this conversation. This is the conversation I get to have with a lot of my clients because they're all working on loving themselves a little more. So, good stuff. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, AJ.
How's it going with you?
Well, I I have been being a little schooled in this, like we talked about before. When we have a topic, we get to have some life experience to give us content for the show. It's
Mm,
just so it's really does work that way.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So today I went to the dentist. I'm having some dental work done, and I actually do not have. I do just don't experience anxiety with dentist. It's not been a really difficult thing for me. I just happen to be looking at the transits. So in human design, transits are where the planets are moving through the different gates and lines in the body graph. And when I was looking at what was defined for me via transit today, and I noticed that I have a defined root today. So I'm like,
Mm,
oh, that's fascinating. Didn't think anything of it. I go to the dentist and I'm feeling like stress, anxiety, adrenaline going through my body. And I'm like, well, last time I had this procedure that I was having done, it was intense. The last time I had it done, and I'm like, well, maybe I have some trauma from it. But I realized that some of that was an awareness that I had as I was going in to the situation. So I could look and I could apply the anxiety or the stress or this adrenalized energy as differently with the information that I took with me, knowing that I had some
mm,
definition going on in my body that was not my normal. And I thought about this show because it's to be real, authentically ourselves. Part of that comes from understanding what ourself is. What
mm.
is that? So today I had this experience with, well, I know that I'm not a stress person, but today I was having, and the dentist like, you're okay. It's all right. And I'm like, this is very strange. I'm watching myself be nervous. This is not normal.
I
And
don't think
so
I've ever seen you nervous before.
there was also an ability to just be authentic with it. So me just being authentic of saying, oh, this is really unusual. He's like, just breathe. It's okay. So that was my date today. Generally, I'm good. But that
And
was
you're still good. Yeah.
it's still good. Um, but that was yeah. And then I just gave myself my body time to rest and relax, and then watch my mind go, "Man, you should be productive. You have." I'm just like, my body wants to just get back to itself.
Yeah. And I feel like dental work in general is dramatic. So I think most people don't go in there feeling easy breezy.
Yeah,
But yeah, you did it. You did it.
yeah,
You
I
overcame it.
did. Yeah.
Like, good job.
Thank you. Handing our bodies over to someone that does a medical thing, that's a lot of faith and
Hmm.
trust in the system. So I honored that today on a deeper level than I think I've ever been self aware with the dentist than
Yeah,
before.
big stuff. It is.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
are you doing?
I'm alive.
Hmm.
Yeah, life is just handing me things right now. So we're playing baseball. I don't know. Um, as a manifester in the human design system, I'm really learning to navigate when my rest periods are and what they look like because there are so many different ways that it can come forward, not just one particular way. And so I'm just really leaning into that and feeling it. And I may be stepping into one right now. So
Ah,
it's just an awareness, it's an energy thing for sure. Learning all about. For those of you who aren't familiar with human design, I really recommend it. It's life changing, life altering. And in the future, we'll have other shows on human design. We have in the past, but we'll go in some more because Natalie has so many wise things to share. And um, we're all about having you learn more about yourself.
yeah.
And speaking about authenticity, it's the best way to learn how to be the most authentic version of yourself. So,
Agreed.
so good. But thank you for asking.
Hmm.
Uh, our topic that you guys decided on last week was living authentically in a filtered world. Um, we do live in a world where we're constantly encouraged to be like perfect and polished and these present versions of ourselves. And obviously, social media is inherently the problem, right? It just amplifies something in humans that we've always struggled with, and that's our desire to belong. And
Hmm.
so when you see things online, you're like, oh, I need to look that way, or I need to live my life this way, or I need to wear that outfit, or I need to do my hair this way. And it has taken away our ability to be the most authentic versions of ourselves. And I know there are people who are showing up online and they may be authentic, but a lot of it is performance.
Hmm.
Nobody has that perfect life that you see. And um, it just doesn't really work that way. And not even in the ways that they speak or the ways that they write beautiful things in their messages. I'm not saying there aren't authentic people out there,
Right.
but the expectation for us to show up and live a certain way based on what is presented to us and how we're supposed to be showing up, we've just become more and more distance from being our most authentic self. Um, and the thing is, authenticity isn't about saying everything that you think or rejecting the growth or anything like that. It's about allowing your outer life to reflect your inner truth.
Yeah.
And I think we just get really disconnected from that. And so that's what we get to talk about tonight. I love this topic. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Do I say that all the time? I probably do, but I mean it.
I don't think we've really picked a show that like was our least favorite thing.
Hmm.
That would be a challenge. Be like,
Yeah.
we just don't resonate with this topic at all. So that would be not the same.
Yeah, through our whole lives, we're just conditioned too. Even like those of us who didn't grow up with social media, we're just conditioned by our parents, like, do this, don't do that, be this person. I always wanted to be this person, so you need to be that person so my dream can get fulfilled. The list goes on and on and on. And your soul, like, literally has never asked to be somebody else. It's only asked you to remember who you are. And that's the whole point of this experiment that we're living in right now, is to come back to our most authentic versions. And we've got societies and, generational patterns and behaviors and all kinds of things showing us what we're supposed to be doing, when none of that is further from the truth. It only takes us away from us, from
Mhm.
our most authentic selves. What do you have to say about that?
So we do live in a duality, the duality of the body and the consciousness. So listening to what you were saying, agreeing what you're saying, and but also hearing in there that you come from the, or what I was hearing you talk about was our authentic consciousness, and just remembering that it's about love and things like that. And then we come here, and then we have this dual experience,
Mm-hmm.
and we can lean into that in an authentic way of saying, how do we align ourselves with the body and the consciousness and honor both of those? And so I do find a lot, well, the vast majority of my framework, of course, as people on the show listen, it comes from the mechanics of design to help me understand what this particular experience is. And so when we were talking about living through a filtered world, I've been consciously choosing or recognizing or having an awareness of the filters. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of filters. There's the filters of whatever the color of our skin is, and the cities that we live in, and the culture that we grew up with, um, and and then all the shows that we watch, and those various things are all filters. But recognizing this as a duality, and so
Mm-hmm.
I often think about how authentic to be authentic both with the body and the consciousness. And having just gone through something with the body today, I have this deep awareness today that the body the body it is our vehicle. It's the vehicle we're riding around with, and it's not the same as our consciousness that's having the trip on this too, that I can see through that woo or the metaphysical or the mystical lens of saying, well, the consciousness says, look, it's got to be this way, and the body says, hold on, let me see if I can get there.
Yeah,
So
good way to put it.
that's what I was feeling about with that part about being authentic. Can we be
Yeah.
authentic with what the body's going through?
Well, and I think it's multifaceted, right?
Mhm.
Where it's not just the body. I feel like in childhood, like how I was explaining, those experiences teach us that certain parts of ourself aren't acceptable, right? And then
Right,
you also learn like people pleasing as a survival strategy, or perfectionism,
right.
like, and the fear of rejection or abandonment, or the comparison. Whew, that comparison that like
Oh,
slowly stills our confidence.
oh yeah.
And then like the energetic cost of performing for others.
Oh, yes.
Just like all these layers. It's so layered. And it isn't just like one thing, like, oh, just go live your most authentic self. Well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And when we are also individual from each other, it's going to be different for each one of us. There's not one program for each one of us. Although we're presented with similar, if not the same things, how we act and react to that is going to be individualized.
Very, very true. So in your experience, how have you considered or measured or work towards authentic in your own life, or what do you use with clients to help them find authenticity?
That's a great question. I'll just speak for myself, so I'm not speaking for someone else. And I usually teach through example from what I've investigated or
Lived.
learned for myself, lived for myself. And I don't think I really understood or grasped this concept until much later in my life because I always thought that I was being authentic. But I
Hmm?
also didn't clearly know myself. And there was this level of getting to know myself, which I'm still doing. I'm still learning who I am and what makes me me. But in the moment, what I have found to be most important for me and most helpful is I have conversations with myself often, and I will check in with myself like a forecast regularly throughout the day. And if I'm presented with a question or an experience, I really have worked on pausing and feeling into the response instead of just responding to respond. And I'll ask myself, is this how I really truly feel? Or is this programming that I've received? Or is this something that I'm jumping on because I heard a conversation and I thought it sounded good? Like I'll check in with myself. I just threw those out. I don't know that if that's something that I felt, but I'll ask myself, is this the most authentic version of myself in this moment? Because we know we all have experiences in life and we look back and we're like, wow, if I could have that experience again, I would do things so differently.
Hmm.
And that's a great way to like give some perspective to a past experience. But one, you're always going to do the best you know how in any given moment with the information you have in that moment. So when you go down the road and you gain more information, all you're doing is gaining more information of which you didn't have prior. So of course you would now say I would do it differently because you have more education, more experience. And a lot of times in my life I just lived on autopilot because I was just living the way that I thought I was supposed to be living or I was told that I needed to live. And I didn't know any other way. And so now I check in like, is this my belief or is this someone else's belief? Is this really how I feel or is this how I've been conditioned to feel? And I've noticed when I've done that, I've given myself an opportunity not only to know myself on a deeper level, but also heal in many ways because I get to learn more about myself and accept myself for who I am, even though it's different than like what my parents believed for me or my partners believe for me. And I get to be me.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that is as I've stepped into that energy of being my most authentic self, is that in any given moment, if I'm tested, however that looks, I don't have to think about it. I already know that what I felt was authentic or how I saw the experience was authentic. So there's not like I can't remember what I said or I'm not sure how I feel because my answer is authentic. I don't have to seek for that in a later date. And also it's given me the opportunity to um, when you step more into your authentic power, I will say, it's given me the opportunity to just have housekeeping naturally take care of itself. And when I mean that, people, places, and things will remove themselves out of your life because they're no longer in alignment with you because you're no longer settling for what you thought maybe possibly could be true. You now know truth for yourself.
Oh yeah. That's I watch you grow into that, and it's lovely and very well said for this topic.
Thank you. It's been a wild journey for me. And I've always felt like I've been my best self, but I also have been in situations, and I know we all have, where we've had this conversation with whoever, and we are done with the conversation and we're like replaying it in our head, and we're like, why did I say that? I don't feel that way. Or why did I give that whole story? It wasn't even like real. Whatever the experience is, and we go back and we rehash it, like all we're doing is guilting and shaming ourselves. When if we just show up our most authentic version, there's nothing to beat yourself up over.
Right.
You just get to be you. And there are going to be people who are like, yeah, I don't like that. And I am like, thank you. Then remove yourself from my life, because I am so tired of like working towards having these connections and commitments and all of these things with people who aren't even practicing authentic self or living. And I'm putting all this energy into myself to have the most authentic life that I possibly can. And if it's not in alignment, okay, cool. There are billions of other people in this world. You go be with them, and I'll find my people. And it really has worked out that way. And, it's a lonely road when you really work on yourself and heal the things that aren't healthy for you. And that's part of the process of being authentic with who you are. And unfortunately, it's one of those moments where you guys know I'll say it is what it is, because it really is what it is. And with all things, when you're learning and growing and stepping more into yourself, there are going to be experiences that and people that are going to not be in your life anymore. It's just part of the process. And so you'll also get to experience grief of an older version of you that is no longer with you anymore. Has nothing to do with them. They've just been teachers for you. And I think it's really a neat awareness that you get to step into, when you can like let your armor down and just step away, because you're not going to battle anymore. You're just showing up as who you are, and people will either love you or not. And if they don't, they're not your people. And there's a freedom that comes with that.
Well, one of the other things to just add on to the last you said, if they don't love you, they're not your people. When you as an individual really are deepening your actual everyday living authentically, it's a
Mm-hmm.
mutative change force. So people may meet that and not like it, and they may go away, and they may be changed because of those situations. They may actually re-examine their own ways, because we so often we learn as humans by through osmosis and through
Mm-hmm.
examples. So when the title that we did was to be brave. So it's a radical thing to be break from the homogenized world, from the everyday programmed world. I in my life, as I was driving up to Vibes today, I generally go against the flow of traffic. So because I don't live the same way on the same sort of 9 to 5 framework anymore. I used to. When I broke away from that, I find that I'm not in the flow of most people. And that's one way that I see it, actually. I'm going and the traffic is flowing on my side and it's bogged down on the other side. In a few places that I was driving today, I was like, wow, that's and that started when I stepped into my own, when I
Yeah.
listened to that universal call. And
Right.
it was radical. Most people didn't were like, yay, you're great, you're doing that. I could never do that, they would say. I could never just take the leap. I could never step away from something that was secure, a foundation, and all that. So that's part of authenticity. The other thing I wanted to touch on was you were talking about remembering back or retrospective look. Authenticity also requires some very compassionate honesty with ourselves. And I say compassionate honesty on purpose because we can be so mean to ourselves inside
Mhm.
this noggin that we've got, wherever that voice is. I don't even know. Sometimes it permeates the whole body, whether it's just up here in this head or everywhere. But we can be really mean to
Mhm.
ourselves. So when we take on compassion and we're looking back and realizing, look, I did the best I could in that situation, and how can I adjust and do what I would want my, because sometimes we want to chastise our younger self and still not do what we would want our younger self to have done.
Oh,
We're
for
like,
sure.
if you had learned it back there, I could be doing it today, but since you didn't learn it, I'm not going to do it today. Often looks like that. Instead of saying, well, I'm going to do my best to build some new habits and some new framework and to live the way that feels more comfortable in our skin. And that's one thing to pay attention to when you are working on living authentically, where the comfort or discomfort is. Because
Mm,
where when you're not living authentically, you're a little less comfortable in your skin. When you're living authentically, there's there's some discomfort because it's different than the other people around you, but there's also this level that feels more comfortable being you,
right.
especially when you do it over a longer period of time. You find like your flow, that place that
Right.
feels like correct for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And also, there's this spiritual cost of wearing a mask. Like the
Mm-hmm.
more you're just tacking on more lessons on this journey, like more cleanup work. And we don't know that, right, until we do. But the beautiful thing about like taking the mask off is, at least for me, is like my I was able to connect to my intuition easier. It became easier to hear when I was no longer trying to um like impress everyone else. I don't even know if impress is the word. I don't know if I like sought out that, but just even like related to them, because I don't feel like I relate to a lot of people. And being fully present in the experience, right? Because I'm not worried about what I'm going to say or if they're going to ask me a question and how I'm going to sound. And I can really be in the present moment. And I feel like that energy helps me just connect more so. And I also feel like when you are your most authentic version, I talk about like losing the friendships, but you also gain them because it raises your energetic
Mm-hmm.
alignment, because your actions will match your values. And those kinds of people will see that and feel that and want to be around it. Um, I also feel like for me, one of the biggest things, and it is my signature as a manifester, that living from my truth has created so much peace in my life. It hasn't created popularity. That is for sure. But my life is so peaceful now. Like, I'm not trying to live my life for anyone else but me. Like, literally, not for anyone I know. Like, I just want to live my life for me now. And I think that's radical in a lot of ways, because we are going to be selfish or self centered.
Mm-hmm.
And um, the right people recognize the real you and not the version created to earn approval. So that's one of those fears that you can just set aside, because it really doesn't matter. And the more that I've stepped into my journey of being authentic and mostly self love, because I've had a whole lifetime of not loving myself, I feel like the more I show up for myself that way, like do the things that have scared me, which is being my authentic self, because my authentic self kind of, I mean, just the way I'm designed, as a manifester, but just who I am in general is not someone that everyone cares for. And I've always been like, but I love everybody right away. I
Mhm.
don't do that anymore. I don't use my energy like that anymore. Now I'm like, you show me who you are, and then I'll decide if I like you or not. And people do not like that. They just don't like it.
Well, there it shakes to meet someone that is really much more comfortable in their skin and authentic and a higher vibration, which is this isn't a comparison. Everybody can be whatever vibration that they exist in. This isn't
Yes.
an exclusive club. So if
Yeah.
that's, it's also honoring living authentically yourself gives you the ability to accept others, but to
Mhm.
have discernment as far as what you were just talking about, whether they're going to be what's the healthiest person or not, and if that's where you'll expend your energy. um, and and so there is um, just like, but that's me authentically. If I have a little blip, then my focused mind goes, whoa, okay, I'm coming back. um, so that ability to, so what I wanted to step into was living authentically yourself. You want to accept others however they are in the present moment and just accept that. That's radical acceptance of people. And it doesn't, this living authentically does not mean that there's going to be no disturbances in your life. It doesn't.
Mhm.
We meet this human experience as it's unfolding. Part of it is knowing the place that we are. So living authentically is also not, I'm not gonna ever be some basketball star. I'm
Mhm.
I'm never gonna. I'm also someone that, as my design, my hermit nature. I'm not someone that's like, I am very extroverted and I don't mind being in the limelight, but selectively so. There's a lot of things that I also don't necessarily naturally investigate. I'm just sort of
Mhm.
on my own, my doing my thing, so I can see the differences because of the framework that I have found to be trustworthy, reliable, um, and resonates with an accuracy for me that I use the filters that I use to align myself and and experiencing my everyday life with more satisfaction since that's my signature. It's part
Mhm.
of that said, "Oh, well, this can be me." I use a lot of things. Recently, I was just this last week, I was thinking, I'm a 4. Okay, it's a process. Okay, so I was able to like with my with slow myself down and say there's no skipping steps. You have to do everything in a process. It's okay if it takes what it takes to get to whatever I'm doing on this project. It's just a step-by-step basis. Those things are the support mechanisms for me in my own personal journey to reach authenticity, the deepest authenticity I can find for myself.
Yeah.
And there is just, oh, it's it's not so easy to explain. I mean, we're doing our best with words and we're hopefully doing a good job for the listeners, but to
Hopefully.
do it, it's whatever it is you practice.
Mhm. Just
And
like with anything else.
it's going to be little things
Mhm.
like not censoring what you say. And that is so hard because so let's a little bit on filters. There really is a censorship filter out there. I feel it so often that
Mhm.
that not everything is okay. And it's part of this program. I don't even know exactly where it comes from, but I feel it. There's times where I don't speak as freely around certain people. And maybe that's just a recognition as I'm saying this right now, a recognition of where they are versus where I am. And maybe it's a little bit more challenge where I could be more authentic with certain people and step
Mhm.
into that space and be more authentic, because I do sometimes hold myself back, and I don't speak as much. Maybe it's because it's not worth it. Maybe because I don't want the conflict. But that's also an awareness that I'm having right now on the show,
Mhm.
that I could be more authentic in
I
different places
do.
in my life.
Yeah, I do too. And that's a great conversation to bring up because at what point are you just like an asshole? Because me, there's a lot of things I can authentically say, but people will take it and be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so rude." But it's just my truth. But I don't want to use that ever as an excuse of saying something that comes across as being, just abrasive
Right.
because I have that in me and I'll say things that I don't even think are bad or rude and people are like, "That was rude." And I'm like, "It was?" Like I didn't mean it to be rude. Like that's not how I meant it.
So
It's not
where's the
rude to
wound?
me. Yeah, so I'm not sure like where how do we like is there an authentic boundary? Like what does that look like?
Well, I mean, I did hear this recently, that this is a very dense Maya. There is density here. And
Mhm,
so I think that may just come from being on planet Earth. It may just be part of coming into this program
mhm.
and recognizing it's part of the program to have those things, and meeting it and experiencing that, like, there's aspects like censorship, or um, and culture, and what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, there's the things that are in fashion and how things move. I happen to be thinking about, like, political climate or cultural climate, that where I'm referencing, reaching for the words that I'm trying to get at, is from those different things. And it's an intense, I find that it's very divisive right now. And so it's easy to find division. And that's not what I like to experience. I like to have, I don't want to make every social gathering some sort of stand on
Yeah.
something. So that's probably where some of that is, not as much about uh, um, being that rebel without a cause and being the asshole, or just being in the experience where it is, and not trying to make a stand everywhere that I exist.
Oh, girl, I bite my tongue on the regular to be polite. I'm not as I'm not as much like that anymore, right? But I think sometimes being real means disappointing other people with their expectations
Oh, for sure.
of how we should be. And like those aren't ours to carry. So I also look at it if I'm not being my most authentic self for myself, because I'm at the point where it doesn't matter where everyone else is at. Like if you're not there, it's okay. Like it's not personal. I'm not out to get you. I'm trying to be a better version of myself. And by doing that, I need to be honest with myself too.
Hmm.
And sometimes I may not like your famous world class soup that you made. You know what I mean? Like it may not be good for me. And everyone else may like it. Good for them. I don't.
You're like, it's all right. It's all right. It's famous. Well,
I
okay.
mean, I could probably make it better,
You
but
just
you
didn't.
see what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, I'm not gonna eat your food and be like, "Oh, this is good," if it's not. And that's just like an example. I'm not really talking about that, but I'm not gonna be fake to myself because I'm carrying that energy around now. And the
Yeah.
expectation of you wanting me to present a certain way, I'm not carrying people anymore. I'm just not. And that's exactly what I've been doing my whole life. And just at that point where I'm like, I don't know if it's age, I don't know if it's healing, I don't know what it is, but yeah, no, I'm good.
It's probably all of those things.
I feel like it's just really honoring my boundaries too, because
Mhm.
You started talking about how do you do this? How do you find your way back? How do you become this authentic version? And I think there's a lot of practical ways to reconnect with your authentic self, and that's one of them is boundary setting, just really honoring your boundaries and let your values or your beliefs guide you, not fears and not someone else's decisions or expectations.
It can be a challenge if in anyone's personal life or relationships that they have like a domineering personality that they're around, or someone that's super controlling. The This is where being your authentic self can be difficult, because if you're around people that impose a particular framework with expectations, with this whole array that would be involved with that, it can be very scary, because rejection is a thing, and we get fearful of rejection. um, Being able to speak truthfully isn't easy with everyone. um, but I really do appreciate in my own journey how I have met that in my life so much less by being
Mhm.
authentic. And so it really does work with that. People will drift or leave or whatever out of my life if I'm just not aligned with them anymore, and the willingness to let that be okay.
Exactly.
It's so empowering and freeing, and there is less spiritual cost, because you had mentioned just like there's a spiritual cost to keeping a mask on. There's a
Mhm.
reduction in what you're able to do. You have one opportunity with the incarnation that you're in
Mhm.
currently. We may have untold numbers of incarnations, but we only have this one incarnation that we're currently in. And so it's about doing that to the best of your ability.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that, our name that we were given, it's like, be the best version of that, be the most authentic version of that. And sometimes it looks kind of crazy. I remember this one, she was eccentric. She was a psychic medium, and I went to a course that she was taking, and her body, she looked different. She was petite, and she just didn't look, I mean, it wasn't like she would be, I'll say it this way. It wasn't a woman that would be like held up in a beauty contest. Not that she was ugly by any means. She was just a unique body. And she said, I picked this form. I love this. This is like this body. And she just fully appreciated the form that she was in. That's a level
Mhm.
of authenticity that is like, okay, dang, that's
Mhm.
achievable.
I'm working on that.
Can you appreciate the form that you're in?
Mhm. Yeah. And and also like you see trends going around as speaking of bodies. Like there's like this big GLP-1 fad going where
Oh my
everyone's taking
goodness.
this drug and everyone's getting really super thin, like crazy unhealthy thin, and they look unhealthy. And this is just my observation. Don't get all uptight about it, but um just a few years ago, um, being thicker was more popular,
Yeah.
right? Like love your body, body positivity, things like that. It was a little extreme, in my opinion, because there is the health things on both ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
But it's so crazy how people will just jump on these trends, these fads, these beliefs, how people get in cults or really deep religions, just trying to find themselves. And I don't think you lose yourself overnight. You lose yourself one small compromise at a time.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we intentionally get ourselves into these situations where we completely lose ourselves, but it's the recognition of, hey, these are my thoughts. Oh, wait, maybe I'm living my life for someone else. Maybe, I'm on that diet because so and so will like me better if I was different. Whatever belief system that you have, um, like set the armor down and give your self permission to shift, to plot twist, to evolve, to change your life and live it authentically for yourself. Um, and I think also on the other side of that, I actually had a call today from someone from my past who has been in and out of addiction, and he has found himself back in addiction. And we had this conversation, and I'm like, why? Like, what takes you back to that place? And the answer just was like, I don't know. And we, as the conversation evolved, it was interesting because he's so uncomfortable in the addiction, but when he was doing well, he was so uncomfortable with being
Mm-hmm.
himself. He was
Mm-hmm.
afraid. He didn't have the courage to be seen authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, wow, like reflecting on the conversation, how many of us have been in that place where we have lacked the courage to be seen. Like if I do shift and I do become my most authentic version, what does that look like? And the fear creeps in, and so we get really comfortable where we're at because we're not seen or recognized in ways that we crave because we don't know what that is. But I think it's really important, excuse me, that you ask yourself questions like why or what am I pretending, and what part of me needs to be expressed, and what would change if I really leaned into trusting myself and who I am and who I'm capable of being. And I can see how that would be scary for people because when I hit my full potential, watch out, world. I'm not sure if I'll do that in this lifetime, but I'm striving to be the best version of myself. And I think that no matter where you are at on your journey, you're always exactly where you're meant to be. And you're always perfect, whole, and complete. And that may sound cliche, but I truly believe that with my whole heart. Like, just because you're not fully authentic right now doesn't mean that you're not a good human being. We
Right.
all have this backpack we carry around with all of this weight of coulda, woulda, shouldas and what that looks like. But I'll ask you guys and answer in the comments if you want to participate in the conversation. But what do you do when do you feel like you are your most authentic self? Let's celebrate that within yourself tonight. Not what you feel like you're lacking, but what you already have achieved. When do you feel like your most authentic self? Or what's here's another one. What's one mask you're willing to put down?
Mm.
Let's just take that off. What does that look like?
I when you said that, what are you lacking? That resonated deeply as far as that may be a signal of a filter or a program. Something if
Mhm.
you feel like you're lacking something,
Absolutely.
generally speaking, that's trying to achieve something that you're not.
It's propaganda, is what that
Mhm.
is.
In all kinds of ways. It's everywhere, 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 everywhere. It really is inescapable, especially um, in America. I mean, that's where I'm most familiar with, but it's just everywhere. The marketing, and they've gotten deeper and deeper and deeper with it. Of course,
Mhm.
leading up to the show, I was just noticing. Um, I was also thinking about the the where we went from like bodies are okay in all shapes and sizes. I still see advertisements that are a blend of all kinds of shapes of bodies and stuff, but I thought it fascinating that when people will AI their picture, it always makes them pretty. It always beautifies it. And then there is this with AI depictions of people. They are driving a thinner, like with makeup,
Mhm. And
body
then they post
image.
the pictures, and everyone's like, "Wow, you look so great." And they
Right.
don't get that with their real
With
photo.
their authentic picture, just a picture of them.
Yeah.
It just, you just shake your head because you really start to see it. And that's just part of this, the awareness of having that, and self-awareness and awareness of our surrounding, our environment, the programs that are out there to watch it.
Mm.
You sometimes just, it makes me smile. I'm like, well, yep, the program's real. I mean, we're swimming in a neutrino field, a programming field. It's just part of it. I also think about the Truman Show, that old movie with Jim Carrey, of like,
Such a good
if you're in
show.
the Truman Show, well, you're in the Truman Show.
Mhm.
Or if you wake up and you're in the middle of the Matrix, what do? You wake up, you're still in the Matrix.
You're still here.
She's
Surprise.
like, okay, we'll drop a mask and we'll do the best that we can through this.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, it's just so fascinating, this whole journey. And, as long as we're being humans in these bodies, we're going to continuously be presented with opportunities to show up more authentically. And it does require you to stand in the face of fear, to have the courage to step outside of what is considered norm in that moment. And it is terrifying. It Rejection is a thing, and fear can freeze you in many ways. But authenticity isn't about having all the answers and never feeling afraid. And courage definitely isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to have the courage despite feeling the fear
Mm-hmm.
and doing it anyway. And I just think that every time that you decide to show up for yourself, um, like your most authentic, genuine self, you create space for someone else to do the same thing. And I feel like that's just radical. Like in a world that often like tells us who we should be, what we should look like, what should we eat, what should we think, what movies we should watch, what books should we, well, it goes on and on. The list goes on and on. Being real is quite an act of courage, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like, I would say when I talk about love being such a high frequency, I've also said I feel I feel authenticity is the highest frequency. And it's one of the greatest gifts you can give for yourself and also teach others by doing so.
Yeah. So that, what you just said, um, I see in my grief groups. So when, so in my grief group, sometimes there's new people, sometimes there's people that have been there a long time. But if someone has had a really difficult emotional week and they've really been through the ringer, and when it comes to their turn, they speak as openly and authentically as they can about that experience, it
Mhm.
cracks open this space for other people to say it. And so this is what I see in my groups, is that someone, whether they break down crying or if they're just talking about what they've experienced in their grief journey and they're representing in a truthful way, then it opens up that space, and other people can say, "Oh my goodness, I've done that. Oh yeah, that really resonated with me." And then it it has such a profound influence on the conversations, and some of the rawest, most, when someone was willing to say the scary thing. I don't know if this
Mhm.
is okay if I say this thing, or someone will ask a question. Do you guys all feel this anxiety? Because that's, uh, do you, who has trouble sleeping? And so these are conversations that'll come up in the grief group, and
Mhm.
they'll open up that conversation for everyone to be more open
Yeah.
within that group of people. about what they're truly experiencing behind the mask, because grief's another thing. When we're in a very sad period of our life, it's something that we mask up for society. One, because it's so um, difficult to people when
Mhm.
you're really sad anyway. So you've got to sort of put on a shield so you can get out there and do the everyday grind
Mhm.
where you think nobody else is in the same situation. But then you gather on purpose with a group of people that come together for that common thing. And then you realize that we have a lot of in common with others. And
Mhm.
and that's a beautiful thing to know.
I I absolutely agree. You know, and it goes along with like everything that you said, the authenticity and like you find your people. You will find your people.
Mm-hmm.
You'll lose some, but you'll find more. So, what a great topic. Thanks for all of your participation, everyone. Just to give you guys a heads up, we will have a show next week on the 8th. The 15th of July, we will not have a show. I will be out of town, um, but we'll resume our show back up on the 22nd. So come and join us next week. We'll either be talking about intuitive eating and energetic nourishment or energy portals and sacred locations. The votes are still coming in. We get them on here, but then we also get them sent to us through our media. So if you guys didn't get a chance to vote live, make sure you um, comment or send us a message. You can visit soulwanderings.com to connect to our social media platforms. And also, if you want to email us, you can email us at connect@soulwanderings.com. And if you have a show topic that you'd like us to discuss and throw in the hat for voting, that's where you can also send that information. Yay.
Yay.
And also to our local people, I don't have a banner up yet, but our business Vibes has been nominated the last 3 years, first place, and second place. Um, for the best of our state in northern Utah, anyway. Um, if you guys are local and have had experiences with us and you feel so inclined, we would really love to have your vote. If you go to standard.net/best, we are located in, I think people have put us in a couple of categories now. We've won Best Wellness Center for the last 3 years. However, I saw us with Best Boutique, Best Customer Service, or something. I don't know. But if you guys have had an experience with us and you would like to support us, this is a really great way to do that. If you feel so inclined. Thank you very
Put
much.
your vote in every day. You can vote every day.
Yeah, every day until the 8th. Yep, yep. Thank you so much. It's been fun. Any final words for you, ma'am?
I just want to thank you. You, through all these years that I've known you, watching you grow into your authentic self and improve in all aspects. I just really admire that and appreciate being able to be part of that journey with you. And
Aw.
in addition, how you are always encouraging me. You're one of my biggest cheerleaders to encourage me to be myself and to shine just the way that I can shine in the world. So I really appreciate that.
Aw, thank you.
You're
I feel like you've
welcome.
done the same for me for sure.
I think
And
that's
and not by criticism or anything like that. You ask me questions that cause me to think like not like is are you sure you should be doing it's nothing like that. But you'll throw in some good one-liners where I'm like, "Oh, dang, she's right." And I like the one that's right. But I'll always admit when I'm not.
it's a good thing. That's an example of what we were talking about. Is you will find your people.
Yes, you will find your people. Thanks for
Hmm.
being one of those for me.
You're welcome.
One of the few.
Mm.
All right, everyone. It's been so fun. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Do not forget, as you navigate your way through this week, to fill in this conversation and find ways that you can connect to your most authentic self on a deeper level. Because, like I said, it's one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself and be the example for someone else to do the same. We'll see you guys all next week.
Have a good one.